Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to Yeol, Israel has claimed responsibility for the death of another high-ranking Iranian military official. In an airstrike conducted in Tehran this morning, Israeli forces reportedly killed Majid Kadami, the head of the intelligence agency of the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iran has confirmed Kadami's death, describing it as a terrorist attack by the U.S. Zionist enemy. Kadami had taken office in June of last year, succeeding Mohammad Kazemi, who was also killed in an Israeli attack during the 12-day war of the previous year. This latest incident means Kademi was assassinated less than a year into his tenure. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a stern warning, stating that Iranian leaders have been living in fear of being hunted down. We will continue to hunt and eliminate them one by one, underscoring Israel's aggressive posture against the Iranian leadership. 自由时报 reports that former U.S. President Donald Trump recently threatened to destroy Iran's power plants, oil wells, and desalination facilities. However, international law experts are warning that such deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure could constitute a war crime. According to the BBC News report cited by Yeol, Luis Moreno Ocampo, the first prosecutor of the International Criminal Court (ICC), stated that intentionally targeting non-military civilian objects and facilities is a war crime under the ICC's Rome Statute. He emphasized that attacks on energy infrastructure, even if claimed for military use, could have devastating impacts on civilians. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Qasem Gharibabadi accused Trump of publicly threatening to commit war crimes, noting Trump's past dismissals of international law in favor of his own moral standards. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, when questioned, refuted the war crime allegations, asserting that the U.S. government and military operate within a legal framework while Trump pursues Operation Epic Fury goals and seeks an agreement with Iran. Hangyor reports that a South Korean military helicopter accidentally crossed into the demilitarized zone DMZ airspace last month while engaged in firefighting operations. The Republic of Korea Army's Ko-1 Suryan helicopter was deployed to combat a forest fire that erupted on March 23 along the front line in Yeoncheon, Gyeonggi Province. Military authorities confirmed the chopper entered the DMZ without prior approval from the UN command, Gyeonggi Gyeonggo. The helicopter was unarmed, and investigations are underway with the UNC to determine if it also crossed the Military Demarcation Line, MDL. North Korea's military reportedly did not issue any noticeable response to the incident. With inter-Korean communication channels currently inactive, South Korea was unable to request permission from the North for the operation, a practice followed in the past. The article notes that accidental border crossings by aircraft are not uncommon due to the high speeds involved, citing previous incidents in 2019, 2005, and a fatal 190-94 event where a U.S. FK helicopter was shot down by North Korea after crossing the MDL. 联合早报 reports that India, a major global importer of urea, has launched an emergency tender to procure 2.5 million metric tons of urea. This urgent action aims to secure stable agricultural supplies ahead of the critical June sowing season and mitigate risks of fertilizer shortages stemming from the U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict. The state-owned Indian Potash Limited, IPL, issued the tender on Saturday, April 4th, with plans to import 1.5 million tons via the West Coast and the remaining 1 million tons through the East Coast. Bids are due by April 15th, and all shipments are expected to depart loading ports by June 14th. India relies heavily on imported fertilizers like urea, diammonium phosphate, DAP, and potash, as well as liquefied natural gas, LNG, for urea production. With about half of its DAP and urea imports coming from the Middle East, particularly Saudi Arabia for DAP and Oman for urea. The country is taking proactive measures to prevent potential disruptions caused by regional instability from impacting its crucial monsoon planting of rice, corn, and soybeans. KBS World reports that a special counsel team led by Cho Yoon-suk has demanded a 10-year prison sentence for former President Yoon Suk Yeol in his ongoing appeals trial. The charges against Yoon involve obstruction of justice related to his 2024 imposition of martial law. During the final hearing at the Seoul High Court on Monday, the team reiterated the same sentence demand made in the first trial. Yoon stands accused of deploying presidential security staff to impede the execution of an arrest warrant against him in January last year. He is also charged with selectively convening cabinet members to discuss his martial law plan. The special counsel emphasized that Yoon's actions constituted a grave abuse of presidential authority, undermining the constitutional order and privatizing state power. They further noted Yoon's continued lack of remorse, his claims of innocence, and his uncooperative stance throughout the investigation and trial. A lower court previously found him guilty of major charges and handed down a 5-year prison sentence. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.